In this podcast episode, host Shawn Ryan sits down with Mike Rowe, the Emmy-winning creator and host of Dirty Jobs, to discuss a wide array of topics, including the skilled trades workforce shortage, work ethic scholarships, the cultural challenges around labor, the future of vocational education, and the realities of dangerous jobs. They also touch on Mike's personal career journey, the evolving media landscape, mental health tools for veterans, and broader societal issues like unemployment, AI, data centers, and energy infrastructure. Mike Rowe begins by reflecting on how Dirty Jobs came to be. It evolved from local television segments he produced in the early 2000s, which showcased the raw, unscripted work of everyday people in tough jobs. The show's rise was unconventional, essentially Forrest Gumping its way to national airplay despite being initially off-brand for networks. Mike emphasizes the importance of authenticity in media, contrasting his modest, handheld camera setups with high-production podcasts that aim not to lose their genuine feel. He notes that his willingness to show vulnerability, imperfection, and real labor drew viewers, changing how audiences connected with work on screen. Despite being initially socially anxious and not a natural conversationalist, Mike grew to appreciate podcasting as a platform to have deeper conversations without heavy production. He values the format's potential for delving into personal stories and preserving legacy narratives, especially around military veterans and workers. Mike touches on the challenge of balancing credibility without alienating the audience, and discusses how he navigates sponsorships and endorsements with honesty, maintaining integrity in his content and connections. A substantial portion of the conversation covers Mike's advocacy for skilled trades. Through his foundation, he's awarded millions in work ethic scholarships, supporting students pursuing trade careers. He highlights a massive labor shortage, millions of open, skilled labor jobs nationwide, including welders, electricians, and plumbers, which traditional education systems and societal values have failed to adequately promote. The abolition of shop classes and the glorification of four-year degrees have left a dangerous skills gap that threatens infrastructure, manufacturing, and defense readiness. Mike calls for a cultural shift where work ethic and blue-collar careers are respected and incentivized seriously. Mike disputes the perception that trades jobs are dead-end or less valuable pathways. He points out that many tradespeople profiled on Dirty Jobs were actually multimillionaires, but this wealth remains unseen due to societal biases and the dirty image of their work. The trades often serve as launching pads for entrepreneurship, with skilled workers growing their businesses and teams. Mike argues that these opportunities have long existed, but need renewed visibility and cultural respect to attract the next generation. The discussion dives into the complex dynamics of the current job market. While official unemployment numbers hover around 4%, Mike notes the paradox of millions of open jobs coexisting with nearly 7 million able-bodied men not participating in the workforce. Economists like Nick Eberstadt, author of Men Without Work, argue that traditional unemployment figures are outdated and don't capture labor force participation realities. Many unemployed individuals choose lifestyles supported by other means while spending thousands of hours on screens yearly. The entangled political narratives make it difficult to have honest conversations about causes and solutions involving entitlement, wages, and cultural attitudes toward work. Mike expresses skepticism that government alone can solve the skilled labor shortage, but acknowledges its role in setting policy and programs. Meanwhile, forward-thinking corporations are investing heavily in training initiatives. For example, Lowe's and Home Depot each committing hundreds of millions to workforce development programs. Tech giants like Meta are creating accelerated trade certification programs with guaranteed job placements. These private and public collaborations aim to fill critical positions in data centers, infrastructure, and manufacturing necessary for national competitiveness and security. Anticipating an unprecedented infrastructure build-out over the next decade, largely tied to advanced technologies and data centers, Mike warns that without skilled tradespeople, ambitious industrial projects will flounder. He discusses recent conversations with executives demanding hundreds of thousands of electricians and welders to meet infrastructure needs. Mike also touches on the ambivalence Americans have toward AI and emerging technologies, highlighting the communication challenges of explaining their necessity while managing public fears. Throughout the episode, Mike shares anecdotes illustrating grit and entrepreneurial spirit, such as a Latino worker who started framing on Easter Sunday and eventually built a multi-crew business, symbolizing the work ethic that drives success. He also recounts stories from his foundation's scholarship recipients who pivoted from college paths to thriving trade careers, underscoring the practical impact of supporting vocational pursuits. Mike and Shawn explore addiction, PTSD, and mental health among veterans, highlighting innovative approaches like Envy, a wearable health monitoring system enabling peer support through biometric alerts for depression symptoms. They discuss the importance of purpose, community, and hands-on engagement, as seen in programs where rehabilitating motorcycles or forging knives save lives by reconnecting veterans to meaningful activities and camaraderie. Both men candidly discuss personal transitions out of military or intelligence roles. Mike reveals that after quitting contracting for the CIA due to ethical concerns, he faced significant financial setbacks, yet found greater fulfillment in ventures like Dirty Jobs and his foundation. They emphasize that identity is not defined solely by a high-profile career, and learning to reinvent oneself is critical when life circumstances change unexpectedly. Mike recounts several harrowing episodes from his career, filming risky jobs, such as changing light bulbs atop suspension bridge cables without safety clips properly secured, nearly drowning due to scuba equipment failure, testing shark protection suits, and jumping with the U.S. Army Golden Knights paratroopers, where a teammate suffered a severe injury on camera. These vivid stories underscore the real danger experienced by many workers and the courage demanded by these professions. Mike asserts that society's current unwillingness or inability to embrace discomfort and problem-solving has eroded core work ethic values. He compares modern human nature with toddlers learning persistence and navigation, and laments how many adults avoid challenges, opting for comfort and distraction. He believes more people need to experience honest accomplishment, which is addictive and empowering, to reverse this trend. One of Mike's proudest achievements is creating scholarships rewarding work ethic explicitly rather than academic or artistic talent. He openly admits the application process is demanding because commitment is critical. By honoring those who demonstrate tenacity, willingness to learn, and showing up early, staying late, his foundation elevates an often overlooked but essential trait fueling skilled trade success. They discuss how podcasting and information culture have exploded, creating a deluge of content that is hard to sift through with clarity. Mike uses the analogy of needing a docent in a museum to navigate the overwhelming volumes of knowledge available. While the format allows for deeper exploration of ideas, it also requires careful curation and awareness of one's own biases. The back and forth between media personalities and variety of opinions makes capturing truth elusive but vital. Mike touches on America's energy challenges, noting the hypocrisy of simultaneously relying on fossil fuels while demonizing them. He favors nuclear energy, including talk of small modular reactors like those from Valor Atomics, as the sustainable way forward given global energy demands. He points out misconceptions around nuclear disasters and stresses the urgency of embracing new technology to avert environmental and geopolitical crises. The conversation touches on immigration's role in filling labor shortages, particularly in physically demanding jobs like construction. Mike acknowledges undocumented workers have a strong work ethic, using real examples of foremen and laborers who build successful businesses. Yet, he maintains this issue is complex and requires balanced policy to support both economic needs and societal fairness without simplistic solutions. Throughout, Mike shares his introspective views about success, humility, and remaining true to self amid external pressures, sponsorship challenges, and changing career landscapes. He emphasizes the importance of character and code over mere work ethic, revealing moments when his own path was reshaped by ethical stands and financial revocation. His reflections offer a nuanced understanding of the costs and rewards of living authentically. When asked about the most dangerous jobs he's encountered, Mike highlights commercial fishing, logging, confined space work, and opal mining in Australia's outback. He describes vivid experiences from each, such as nearly drowning testing shark suits, jumping out of planes with army parachutists, and visiting deep, unstable mine shafts. These stories illustrate the real hazards skilled workers face daily and enhance appreciation for their courage. In closing, Mike and Shawn talk about the explosion of podcasts and social media, the challenge of maintaining authenticity amid sponsorship demands and political pressures, and the evolution of the audience-performer relationship. Mike stresses that successful content today must resonate sincerely with audiences who can easily detect fakeness. They both acknowledge the heavy responsibility and complexity of being voices in a noisy, fragmented, and fast-paced media environment.